You're at the review your campaign stage, and there's a couple of things to note here. It's pretty simple. If you have set up everything correctly, there will be a launch button here. On my screen, you'll notice there is no launch button, and I did that purposely so I can showcase what to look for if you run into the same thing. If there is a launch button there, we'll get to that in a little bit, but honestly, you just hit launch and it'll activate your campaign to go into our review process. But if you don't see a launch button, then that means that you're missing a required element, such as the URL or the campaign name or the ad creatives or whatever it might be. So don't fret, because this does auto-save, so you're not going to lose any of your work if you're like, ooh, I don't have the creative, I can't launch this, and I'm not ready for this, and I'll lose my space. Totally fine. In the home dashboard, you'll be able to see it in draft mode. So if you don't see the launch campaign, it'll actually indicate to you a couple of different things that it might be. And here it says at least one ad is required, meaning that I need to actually upload one of my ads. So in order to do that, you just go back to the upload your ad page. And I don't have any ads in there right now, and you need at least one ad size in order to activate it. Now, the more ads that you include for different sizes and lengths, if you're doing videos, the better it'll be. You just get access to more inventory, which means that we have more times that we can try to target the individuals that have entered a geofence. So I'm going to add just one ad here, 300 by 250, and then hit next. And next, and you'll notice my launch button is now here and everything. So you can always go home to the dashboard and you can save this if you're not quite ready to launch. You can go to, obviously, like we just did, go previous to review your campaign as well too. But it'll give you a little synopsis whenever you do have the launch button of what this is. And I'll tell you what ads you're serving, the dates, the spend levels and everything. But I highly encourage you that, especially if you're first time, hit the previous button, just give it a real quick review. You can always change it even after you launch and edit it any time, but that's just a nice tip to get you going. So the other thing that I want to point out is what happens after you launch. Well, there's really two things. There's your side of things, which is if you go to the home, you can see all of these are just a bunch of different test campaigns that we've been running on our side. But you can see the different campaign cards that we have here on your home dashboard. Now, some neat things are you can actually sort it by draft, pending, waiting, active, stopped, and ended. Draft is just it's in editing mode, it hasn't been launched. Pending is when if you had launched it, it goes into pending mode. So the one human component that we still implement, because there's laws and regulations around geofencing and advertising in general, is we look at your creative, we look at your landing page, we look at you as an advertiser, and we look at your geofences to make sure that you're in compliance. If not, you will get an email from us saying, hey, this needs to be adjusted and everything, just to kind of have your back. You do agree in the terms and conditions that that you agree to whenever you register, that you're going to stay up to date with these laws and regulations, but we take that extra step knowing that sometimes changes, those laws change, and that we want to make sure that you're in good standings, and so are we. So that's what pending mode is. Waiting is that you've passed a review process, but your start date hasn't started quite yet. So if you passed today, which is August 7th on here, but your campaign isn't going to start running until August 10th, well, you're going to be in waiting until August 10th, and then it would go into active mode. If your campaign start date is on that day or before the day of the review, which reviews only take about 1 business day or less, and everything, then it'll go instantly to active and won't even make it to waiting. Active is when you're actually capturing devices and then you're serving them ads from your geofences. Stopped is if you're like, hey, I want to pause this campaign. You see we have a stop campaign right here, and I can always restart it as well too with this little play button. Although the dates here, oh, actually that's a year, so that would actually be able to restart. And then ended is we have one right here. So the date actually ended, the campaign was fulfilled, and it's been completed. The other thing that you can look at as well too is if we have one in draft mode, it'll tell you the information that's on here and everything. If it's in pending, it'll let you know that as well too. And then I want to actually see, I'm going to grab one that I know is ended, a little quick test campaign. If you expand it down, you'll notice that you'll start getting live data in here. And we have a couple of options as well too right now that we're going to expand upon. But the life of the campaign, month to date, previous month, 30 days, 90 days, and year to date. So you have different date ranges that you can pull from. Eventually, we will have a customized date range as well too. So don't worry, that is on the books to get done. But you can see what your spend is, your impressions, your clicks. If you have any conversions set up, how many people saw your ad and then entered into your conversion fence and everything. Your cost per thousand and your cost per click as well too. So that's some of the things that you can look at on your end. That's a little information into our review process on our end. But congrats on launching your campaign, and read below if you have any other questions that that you want to kind of review for the review your campaign page.